if you're wondering if you may be an ISFJ but don't have the spare time to take the test, here are the 12 signs to look at. You're known as the defender or the protector. People often describe you as reserved yet very warm-hearted. Following through with your commitments is one of your strongest suits. If you've ticked all of these boxes, you likely have an ISFJ personality. ISFJ stands for introverted, sensing, feeling, judging. It is one of the most caring and most considerate Myers-Briggs personalities. It is also the most common, with up to 14% of the US population sharing these traits. As an ISFJ, you're in the same league as star athletes like Tiger Woods and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, political figures like former US President Jimmy Carter, and great literary figures like Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. You're in pretty good company. If you fall under this personality type, you'll make a good educator, caregiver, or nurse. You'll also likely excel in the fields of interior design and customer service. It all stems from your desire to help people in a genuine and practical way. Now, the Myers-Briggs test is a bit extensive, and it takes a while to complete. So, if you're wondering if you may be an ISFJ but don't have the spare time to take the test, here are the 12 signs to look at. But before that, subscribe to the Psychology Pub YouTube channel and check out the links in the description if you want 10 years of good luck. Number 1. Your hard work goes unnoticed. This isn't always a bad thing, but in this case, it's because you'd rather work in the background, away from the limelight. You're the diligent employee who carries the workload, but prefers to work quietly under wraps. You may fail to get your due recognition, and you're perfectly fine with that. It gives you satisfaction knowing that everyone is taken care of. Society isn't usually kind to braggarts and over-the-top attention seekers, which is why you're generally appreciated. Number 2. You're covertly emotional. You're an innately emotional person. Whether it's sheer joy or utter frustration, these feelings tend to overwhelm you. However, you're not very comfortable expressing them overtly, so you'd rather keep to yourself. Sometimes, not even your loved ones really know what's going on inside of you. This is your introverted self taking over. You're the type who'd keep a stern face in public, then bawl into a pillow once you have your alone time. But it also helps to have someone, or a few people, to open up to. Sometimes everyone needs a shoulder to cry on. Number 3. You're meticulous to a fault. To have a great eye for detail is an indispensable asset to have. Many companies would love to have you on board. It's also a helpful trait to have if you work a visual-oriented job like video editing or graphic design. However, your attention to detail could cause you problems at times. You find yourself obsessing over the smallest details just to fulfill that desire to have things run a certain way. For some people, it's gotten to an unhealthy level of perfectionism. You're likely to experience high levels of anxiety during your most stressful moments. This is when you'll need to keep yourself in check. Number 4. It's difficult for you to say no. As ISFJ, your satisfaction comes from seeing others happy. You're not necessarily a people pleaser, but knowing you've let someone down can be very uncomfortable for you. The downside there is that others may take advantage of you, whether intentionally or not. Some may see it as a means to get their way, and that leaves you on the compromising end. The world can be that kind of cruel place, and there are those whose morals aren't intact. If you're already going through a lot, then it's time to make yourself the priority first. Your own well-being should always be in first place. Number 5. Family comes first. Because you're an introvert by nature, you've established strong ties with the people closest to you. You value your tight-knit inner circle of immediate family members and childhood friends. That familial love you're accustomed to is also why you make a great caregiver or nurse. It's innate in you to make sure that people around you get the adequate amount of care and attention. There's definitely nothing wrong with wanting to have everyone's needs met. Just be sure you're not neglecting your own. Number 6. Achieving closure is a big deal for you. The J in ISFJ stands for judging. Part of that personality is the desire to have things decided. And if you fall under this category, you're the type of individual who does not leave anything unfinished. An incomplete project is the bane of your existence, and you'd rather not engage in one if you're unsure you'll be able to get it done. Part of it is also the unwillingness to let others down, which you get a good amount of respect for. It's why people rely on you for the things that matter. Number 7. Having structure is equally as important. Unpredictability and chaos? Forget about it. You're having none of that. Hearing the phrase, "just wing it," is like hearing the sound of fingernails running down a chalkboard. For you, gray areas are non-existent. It's either black or white. You're the type who won't feel settled until you get the full instructions on a certain project. And once you do, you will follow every step to a T. No stone will be left unturned. Routines give you comfort. The existence of structure puts a smile on your face and puts you at ease. But adhering to it may also put you in a tight spot at times, and that's what you need to be ready for. Number 8. Changes are difficult to deal with. Change is the one thing that's constant and permanent in this life, and that goes without saying. It happens on all facets, whether it's with relationships, personal circumstances, or the specials menu of your favorite restaurant. But since you're a creature of habit who lives and dies by your routines, these sudden shifts don't sit well with you easily. There are times when you'd be resistant to them, even if you know how futile it is to be. And especially if these changes bear a good amount of weight, it may be a cause of great stress for you. Now, this isn't to say that you should let go of the structure that's dear to you, but being able to roll with the punches and make the necessary adjustments will make you both durable and resilient. Besides, what do they say? Whenever life gives you lemons, get some tequila and salt and have a good time. Number 9. You take things way too personally. As children, we've been told that sticks and stones may break our bones, but words could never hurt. But as we grow into adulthood, there will come a time when these words sting a little bit more. But if you're an ISFJ, criticisms are like a shot to the heart. They often hurt twice as much if they're coming from someone close to you. So, if your best friend didn't like the way you seasoned the steak you cooked, you won't be able to get over that for a while. One thing you've got to remember is that not all criticisms are valid. Most often than not, these disapprovals are brought on by misunderstanding. When people are unable to get through that barrier, they often conjure up misconceptions that are sometimes too far off. So, as long as you know yourself and where you stand, these criticisms won't hold water. You can, in fact, take them as a challenge to further improve on any weaknesses you may have. Number 10. You're way too generous. It's one thing to be generous with your time and resources, but it's another to be the martyr that everyone takes advantage of. ISFJs tend to pick up that submissive role, especially in a relationship. If you're not careful, you may fall into the trap of losing yourself entirely. Before you know it, you'll be living a life of regrets and what could have beens, and that's not something you'd want to carry throughout your existence. Again, it's all about thinking of your own fulfillment over others. Put more value to your goals and aspirations. Allow yourself to be happy. Number 11. Your commitments mean the world to you. Whether it's with your personal dogmas, romantic relationships, or saying you'd be at the movies by 1 p.m., commitments are sacred to you. The saying, "A man is only as good as his word," is a hill you're willing to die on. Speaking of romance, you're usually a keeper as an ISFJ. Just like how you won't say yes to a project without the guarantee of finishing it, you won't involve yourself with someone you're not sure you'll be with in the long run. It's that loyalty that also makes you lovable and valuable for other people. Many are thankful to have you in their lives, and that's something to be proud of. Number 12. There is a side of you that people don't see. As an ISFJ, you yearn for harmonious, good-natured relationships with the people around you. You want to avoid conflicts as much as possible, but because of that, you also tend to suppress certain parts of your personality. Now, this isn't to say that you're living a double life, but for some people, that other side is a polar opposite compared to what they show on the surface. They may seem cool and level-headed for the most part, but there's actually a volatile, foul-mouthed person deep down. That individual only comes out amongst friends. And since you're already keeping a part of yourself closed off, the people around you will misunderstand you more. It may then create the conflicts that you're trying to avoid in the first place. It's good that you already have that filter to conceal your potentially unpleasant side, but you must also train yourself to not rush in judgment to avoid ruining bridges with others, especially those who are dear to you. Do you consider yourself an ISFJ? Most people of this personality will identify with these 12 signs. Some of them may even tick every single item on the list. But if you want to be absolutely sure, spare a few minutes to take the Myers-Briggs test. Not only will you learn more about yourself, but you will also enjoy the ever-fruitful path to self-discovery. Subscribe to the Psychology Pub YouTube channel and leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Remember to check out the links in the description if you want 10 years of good luck. It's time